Hello Franky. So here I am. I've experimented a couple of times, so sorry that the this first video hasn't come out for quite a while. The reason for that is because I found it quite difficult to get me and what I'm doing in at the same time. It's quite a skill to it. I take my hat off to people who have sussed this out. Right, so now what I've got is I've got a list of things here which I'll work through with you and make sure you've got them. I know you've got most of them because you've got some of them because I gave you them. There will be a few other bits and pieces you're going to have to go out and get. The other thing I've tried to do is I've tried to think of what your mum, Grandad Ray and Grandma Carol would have in the house anyway, so that you can use them until you build up your list of tools. So just try and because it gets quite expensive if you buy everything at once. So but that's not what we're going to do. So getting back to here, so we're going to start off with, alright, so I'm going to put this down here and I'm going to leave it there like that. I might zoom in a little bit just to show you some of the bits. So the first thing you need is a box of soldiers. Do you remember I gave you a box of soldiers? Yours are Egyptian archers, mine are spearmen, but that's okay. Very similar, and all your it's only the bows and the shields which really make things any different. So we'll go for that. So that's the figures. Then you'll need, now these are 28 or 25 mil bases, slot bases these ones are. I've given you some of these, so I'm gonna, as I said, I'm going to be doing one at a time. So I'll do one figure, one base at a time. You can, of course, you can do one, but you can do 6 if you want. You can do 8 if you want. You do as many as you like. So I'm going to put that down there. Then you're going to need a bottle top, which I've given you, and also some blue tack or plasticine, anything which you want to. And we're going to put this on here straight away. Press it down so that it stays. And then we're going to put that, we'll need this later. We're going to put this over there out the way. Yeah, and we'll come back to that later. Then we're going to need some soapy water and a toothbrush. So I've got an old toothbrush here. You can use a new toothbrush. It will soon be very old, but that's okay. Ask Grandad Ray, and I'm sure he'll be able to find you something. So that's that. Let me move that out of the way because otherwise it's going to get a bit congested there. You're going to need a little piece of sandpaper. Yeah, so a little piece of sandpaper. You are also going to need a butter knife. Now, see what I'm doing? We're using a butter knife, like not a sculpting knife of any sort. This is a butter knife, because I know you're going to have one of these in the kitchen. Because I've been in your kitchen many times, and I know that both Grandpa and Grandma have butter knives. Now, something that you all have to go and talk to your Grandpa about is a very thin-headed screwdriver. This is electrical screwdriver. He may well have one in his toolkit. Yeah, but if not, these are very cheap, and this is something else that I thought would be easy for you to get. Until you build up your stack of tools, modelling tools. Okay, so that's that. When we've finished washing the figures, you're going to need some tissue, so we'll put that over there as well. We've talked about this already. We talked about this the other week. You're going to need some of this. Grandpa may well have some of this, but if not, you guys will have to go and get some, okay? And you can see there it says impact glue. Yeah, alright. And it doesn't have to be, you don't need a very expensive one. You like just one which says its impact on there, okay? And then lastly, a tub of filler. Yeah, and a tub of filler is going to last you a very long time, so don't get a huge tub. You see, that's only a small one. So that's what we're going to do. Right, so let's get everything out of the way. And one last thing, a pair of scissors. Okay, so let's get everything else out of the way so that we can get started. Alright, put that there, and that there. Right. So the first thing we do is open our pack of soldiers. Now I've already, because I've been experimenting, I've already taken some figures out, but I still have, a blister pack in there. Alright, now this, let me just bring that down a little bit. Now, this is blister pack, yeah, and it's got, I think in here, there's 12 figures. And all I've got to do is open the blister pack and take a figure out. But I'm going to have to put my glasses on. You might have to put your glasses on as well, Frankie, because I know you've got really old eyes. Okay, not like me, not like Uncle Gary, because I've got really good eyes. And actually, I'm not going to take it from there. So I'll show you how. Right. So what I did to get into the blister pack, I just cut. Can you see? I just cut the top off. There, and then that should, there. Oh, you don't even have to do that. You don't even have to cut that off. If you just press, look, let me get it out of my hand. If you just press there, look, that opens. The blister pack actually opens. So that's how you get into your figures, right? I'm not going to take one from here because I've got spearmen. So it turns out I've got spearmen and some people with swords. Right, so I'm going to use this one, this figure here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rest out of the way so that it gives me more space. Alright, now what we've got to do with this figure, we've got to clean him up a little bit. Yeah, now I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Oops, there out. Bring that down. Right, now what you can see on the bottom of the base, there's some little bits of like metal which stand up a little bit, and that's when they do the mould. They make moulds for these, and when they do the mould, they pour hot metal into there, into the cast. And then when they take it out, sometimes you get overlaps. Also, if I can just point this out to you as well, if you look just between his legs there's another piece of metal, and that also happens as well. So we're going to need to clean that off, make sure we take that off, and then just generally have a look around and see if there's anything else what needs cleaning. Sometimes you can do it with your thumbnail. So if you see anything, so there was a little bit of metal which was standing up, just a little bit on that shield, and I was able to just scrape my nail along and take it off. Okay, alright, so for the rest, so that's not bad, that's quite a nice cast actually. Now going back to our screwdriver, now I'm going to go, that's it, right, and all I'm going to do is I need to get that piece of metal between his legs off. That's it, right. So all I'm going to do is just give that a little twist, and that snaps that off there, and then do the same on the top, and that comes straight off. And that's quite nice. That's off already. I'm looking around, there doesn't seem to be anything else on there to do. But if there were, you know, so, oh hang on, right, there's a little bit on that spear, just there. Okay, so what I can do, I can use the edge of my screwdriver just to scrape that down, make it nice and smooth. Okay. Oh, and there's a little bit more on the top of the spear. So again, I'll just take that off. That's better. That looks better already. Okay. So we've done that. We're going to just make sure the base on the around the edge is nice and smooth. Okay, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to keep this little bit of metal because I save them, because I do some casting. We're going to take our little bit of sandpaper. There we are. I'll take a little bit of sandpaper, and you see that bit we talked about earlier on the bottom. We're just going to take that off by rubbing the figure across the sandpaper, like that. Okay, and have a look and see if it's smooth yet. Oh, that's pretty good. I'll do one more little, do a couple more strokes. Sorry, big old hands. What I'm trying to, there we are, so you can see the figure at the same time. Okay, that's it. So that's nice and smooth on the bottom. We've got all the shavings off, and that's good. Now, when they're doing the casting, what they do is sometimes they use a release agent. So the release agent stays on the figure, and we need to get that off. So we go to our soapy water, put the figure in there, and our toothbrush. Can you see that all right? All right, it's okay. I'm going to take it out anyway. Right, take the toothbrush, and we just raise that up, and then we're just gonna clean his teeth, Franky, and not only his teeth, we're going to clean everything else as well. So we're going to go all the way around. I don't know if you can see that. That's it. All the way around. Get all that off. And that's lovely. And then we'll just dip it in there, clean the excess off. We'll put our toothbrush away. We won't need that again. And we'll take our tissue and we'll lay the figure on there to dry off. Alright. Now whilst he's drying off, we can put a piece on top as well actually. So let's just... Right, so you can see he's on there drying off. We're going to put a piece on top to help that dry off as well, and press it down a little bit. But then move it out of the way, because we won't need that now. And now we're going to look at the base. So on the base, you will often find, isn't it typical, this one hasn't got it, but you will often find that there's a little bit of plastic sticking up on one of the edges here. And that's where it was attached to other bases or a sprue, and that needs to be taken off. And all you can do it just like that. So when you go through yours, you will have some. You can scratch it off like that, or you can get back to your sandpaper. Just put that in view and do exactly the same. Very gently though, because if you're too hard, you will actually change the shape of the base, yeah? And you don't want to do that. So then you can just rub that on there, and then you've got your base there, and that's ready. Now, the next thing we're going to do is this slot in the middle, we don't need it for the figures we've got. There will be figures that you will have later, and you will need those slots. But for these ones, we don't need it. So we're going to fill it. So we take our filler, and our butter knife. So let me just zoom out a little bit, mate. See that? Oh, that's better. Now you can see that much better now. So there's the base, there's the butter knife, there's the filler. So what we're going to do, just going to take a little bit of filler, not much. You won't need much. I'm going to press it into that slot, okay, and then what we'll do is we'll take off some of that excess, because we won't need that, and then we'll just take it across again, make it nice and smooth. Now what would have happened, because the slot goes all the way through, yeah, so some would have come out onto the wood underneath, and we don't want it. It might sometimes make the stand a little bit proud and so make it stand up. So, but if we just do this on the surface, that will take all that off, yeah. And then what we do is we pick it up, wipe anything off the edges, because we want nice smooth edges. Okay, and then put that to one side to dry off. So I'm going to put that, so that's how that is there. I'll put that over to one side. I'm going to take my filler, move that out of the way. Okay, I'm going to put my scissors away, don't need them anymore. I don't need my butter knife. You probably will, because you'll probably do a few of them all at once. And that's okay. I'm going to take my screwdriver out of the way, don't need that anymore. And what excuse me. And then what we're going to do, we're going to glue the figure. So there's the figure which is drying, and there's the base with the filler which is drying. But because I'm an extremely clever uncle, I did one yesterday. I did a stand and a figure so that we can do the gluing process right now. And then all we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of our glue. Now be careful when you take the top off not to squeeze on the tube, because this is the glue's very thin and it will come straight out the top, as you can see that already it's coming out. And you don't need a lot, just a little bit in the middle there, and then we'll give it a wipe and then put the lid back on, yeah, and tighten it up finger tight. You don't need to do it too tight, like I say, you don't need to put too much pressure, because you'll force the glue into the top there, and then it will come out again when you put it on. So and I'll put that out of the way because that's finished. And then the last thing we're going to do tonight, we decide, oh man, I'll tell you what I've just noticed, that there's a little bit of a glue which just slipped down the edge there. That's okay. And there's a bit on there, so I'm just going to rub that out. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Now, there's the base. And I've decided I want him standing just slightly off. Press him down. And he's done. That's all we're going to do today. Tomorrow, I'll tell you what I will quickly do. Just spread some of that glue out. Okay. Right, so tomorrow, let's zoom in, show you, let's see if your figure looks the same as mine. There he is. I'm going to turn him round. So he's a lovely figure. He's an Egyptian infantryman with a spear and shield. But yours is going to have an arch. He's going to be an archer, and he'll have bows and arrows. Okay, or a bow and arrows. Right, so that's me done. I'm going to upload this now, and then I'll do you another video where we put primer spray on the figure, and I'll show you how to do that. And that's going to be a very quick one, because then that has to be put by to dry, and then we'll get painting. We'll get to the exciting bit. Speak to you soon, Frankie. Take care, mate. Bye.